Right. So what happens is first step is identifying what you did, then contacting them. And then after you've contacted them, that's when you evaluate. So you don't know the condition of the house. I mean, you could throw out a blind offer, or you can look and see what they paid for it. And based on the condition, go from there. That's one way. The other way is to see really what's happening with this property, because evaluation, it could be a deal breaker for you. So this is what we actually want to do, is be able to find deals. So in your specific purpose, are you looking to invest or to get listings? You can unmute yourself, it's fine. So much easier.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, just fine.
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to be an investor, so I've been watching YouTube for a couple years and trying to figure the whole thing out. And then I thought it was a good idea to get my license in case I come across someone that doesn't want to sell below market. And then I can just sell their house for them at market, you know. I didn't want to miss out on that end of it, like any kind of extra money. But ideally, I want to invest someday.
Okay. What would be your number one priority at this point?
Investing? As far as what?
Like when you're looking for deals, your number one priority is to invest.
Yeah, I want to, I'd like to get like rentals, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, rental properties, maybe some, one of those things where you kind of let people buy it on a, man, I forgot what that is, but
like creative financing terms?
creative financing, yeah, like they rent it to own it.
Okay.
That kind of.
So rent to own.
Yeah, like, yeah, and then you have the option to buy and stuff like that.
Okay, like lease option.
Yeah, lease options. Owner financed, seller financing, I mean.
Okay. So what we'll do is we will contact, we'll just take this. And call that seller financed. And then bring this guy over here. Oops. As a part of that. Glad to have you, Jack. So these are some of the reasons or ways of investing that you're interested in. Rentals, seller financed, lease options, rent to own. So as far as deal finding goes, there's options for you as an agent to find listings, but your number one priority is for investing.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, good to know. How about you, Jack? If you're not able to talk, you can text, or if you just want to listen, just let us know too. That way we won't be calling on you.
Yeah,
All
so I've
right.
never knocked on a door or anything. I've been driving around, like driving for dollar things, and I did call to get ownership on a couple houses that look like either run down or look abandoned, but one ended up being owned by an LLC out in the Midwest, out in East Coast, and it was a rental. They said the neighbors said someone paid to rent the house, but has not shown up for like 6 months. And the other one was owned by some lady that was a nurse, and I didn't knock on her door, but her screens were, broken, and grass didn't look like it was mowed, but
Okay.
her taxes were paid up to date and everything.
So, okay, so there's a lot going on here. Let's break this down. So this is the where and the how is what you're talking about.
Yeah. I've never talked to someone because my problem is, like, what do I do after I talk to them? I always like to, I don't know, the next step is the paperwork, especially because I have a real estate license. I need some type of waiver or something. And I was going to talk to an attorney, like a real estate attorney.
So let me go ahead and give you my disclaimer. I'm not licensed, so I can't
Yeah.
give you any kind of legal, professional, real estate advice, tax advice, any of that stuff. So that's my disclaimer. So everything that I share with you is personal, like what I have done. And can you invest in real estate without a license? Of course you can. Can you do it with a license, but not have your license be the reason or motivation behind it? Of course you can. You just have to disclose.
Yeah.
So my one of my partners, we've bought in the last 3.5 years, close to almost about 60, I think it's like 58 properties. And he's a licensed agent. All we do is disclose and then write it in the contract that he is a licensed real estate agent, not acting in that capacity. And then everything you do is as you're buying it by the shelf, buying it for yourself.
That's just a form that he got at on NAR or something?
No, it's a line item you enter into your contract. So you can use the CAR form, or you can use any standard contract you feel comfortable using. You just have to disclose that you are a licensed agent, not acting in that capacity. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. But till I actually, the mechanical part of it, where I either write something down on, it's the paperwork that they don't really go over. No one's really goes over the actual paperwork. I mean, I've seen it.
We'll be doing that. That's something we'll be doing. We'll get into that. So probably not today. Probably not today, but that's something that we will get into. I'll share with you my contract, the contracts that I use, and I'll show you exactly line item by line item what we say, how we say it, why we say it, and then also the verbiage that we use to disclose that X, Y, and Z is a licensed real estate agent.
And then let's say if I find something I think you might be interested. I don't know if I think you come down this area at all? Or what?
I do. Yeah.
Then what, is there, what do I could give you a form that with all the information, but you'll probably go over something like that anyway, but so just so you can overview the deal and see if it's good for you,
Of course. So let me give you like a broad strokes, what it is that we'll be discovering and discussing and doing going forward. Sound fair?
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that we'll be doing is just identifying, like, what are these deals? Where are they at? And, oh. Could you hear me before?
Yeah.
All right, I got to use this microphone. All right, so here's the overview, basically, of what we'll be doing in like broad strokes. So the first one is identifying. So identifying the opportunities. Like, where are those at? The second one is then contacting.
Oh, I don't know if you're recording this. If you have a slight echo, I can still understand you though.
Okay, you can hear the echo?
A little bit, yeah.
Let me see what I can do on that real fast. Did this fix the echo?
That's worse.
It is worse. What about this? Oh wait, that's worse.
What if you maybe the
Okay.
now I'm echoing.
Oh, geez. Is this better or worse?
Is this your iPad? Maybe
Yeah, it's my iPad.
Maybe if you mute your iPad, maybe you're getting two forms of.
Something's going crazy, isn't it? All right. Oh, can I have share device audio on? No. How about now?
Still echoing.
Still echoing. What the heck is going on?
I don't think it's muted. Is this the mute thing up at the top
Is it?
of your?
Well, if I do this.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
That's good.
Beautiful. Okay. This is growing pains.
Yeah.
Okay, so broad strokes is we'll be identifying opportunities and contacting the owners, evaluating the opportunity, the numbers, everything that goes into it. And then, of course, number 4 is contract. All the paperwork, what that looks like, disclosures, things like that. So this is a broad overview of what we'll be doing. And each week, we're going to spend time going into each one of these, depending on the needs of those that are present. And then we'll also be doing role playing, because each one of these requires a certain level of confidence and skill and just overall familiarity so that we can become proficient and basically find success in this game that we call real estate. So this is basically the overview of everything. So you've identified opportunities from what it sounds like. And you have contacted some of the owners. You haven't evaluated and definitely not contracted. So to answer your question, when you find something that you think is going to be a good deal, whether to me or to the marketplace, yeah, I'm definitely open to buying something that you have. And as we go through this, you'll get a lot more proficient at what exactly is a deal and what is kind of a marginal or just an opportunity you just need to pass on. it's just not going to be beneficial for you to pursue.
Okay.
So going back to what you had said though, so you have identified some opportunities.
Yeah, I just out jogging around in my neighborhood. I
Great way.
and driving in areas that are close to where I live, in decent like areas I might be interested in. Not a I did come across maybe 4 houses in the last month, maybe. I called on 2 of the houses, like I said, found out that one was owned by an LLC out in East Coast, and I talked to the neighbors. The neighbors were outside, and yeah, they said it's a rental house, and some guy had rented it and hadn't showed up for 6 months. They don't know what the status is. So, I mean, those people look like some kids had broken in the side of the fence into the backyard. The backyard was a mess compared to the rental pictures I found online. And
Did you reach out to this LLC?
no, I didn't. I made a phone call to the county to find out who the owner was.
Okay.
But I didn't reach out to the LLC yet, and not. Yeah, in that particular house, I kind of like wanted it's a 2-story, and I kind of like to start out with a single story myself, but that would be something I would maybe give to somebody, or just do sell it to somebody somehow. But it's in a nice neighborhood and everything. It's just looking run down, and the neighbor said the property manager was like 5 houses down. But I went and knocked on their door, but no one answered. And yeah.
So do you have access to the MLS and Real List?
I will once I hang my license.
Okay.
Trying to find the right broker at the moment, one that will be good for my investment end of it. I want to go with EXP maybe, but I'm trying to find like a sponsor and talk to some agents around here.
Okay.
I'm ready to hang my license, and I'll have access to MLS and stuff like that.
Beautiful. Okay, because the reason I say that is because there are tools that allow you to go ahead and find who these sellers are or these owners.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't sound like that's a huge profit opportunity for the investor. Like, they have a property that's being vandalized as deferred maintenance.
Yes.
They not collecting rent.
I think they collected the rent, but the guy never showed up.
So they collected 6 months worth of rent?
They may have collected a year, but they said that it's been like vacant for about, I thought they said 6 months, because there was like no one was taking.
House? Did they pay cash for a year and then turn it into a grow opportunity? They're only showing up at night?
Possibly, because the backyard is not. I mean, I found the rental pictures online, and the backyard looked really nice. It had a little pond there and everything, and I looked in the broken gate, and it was like just weeds. And then the front yard had this huge limb from the tree that fell, and no one's touched it. Not even the property manager. Apparently, she lives like 5 houses down.
Do you have Deal Machine?
I don't have. I looked at that though. I didn't pay for it because.
Yeah, there's okay. Oops. So Deal Machine, there's a 14-day trial. And if you do Bootstrap REI as a promo, they give you 14 credits. And those credits are used to mail. So you could take a picture of that house with the broken tree limbs, and send it to the property owner. And also, Deal Machine has the ability for you to skip trace, which means it gives you contact info. So for example, you take a picture, you mail it off, but immediately you can skip trace with one of those credits, and you can call up that owner or that company and basically just say, hey, I'm interested in this property. I just got sent you a picture of the condition, there's some broken trees, all that stuff, and just see what their, I guess, level of motivation is to do anything with it. On a general scale, if it's a large like hedge fund, they will be sitting on tons of cash and not even care because they bought it at such a discount that they mismanage a lot of their properties and they're still profitable, that they would never get rid of them. I have a few of those in my neighborhood. They came through and they bought bulk properties during the crash, and they still own these things and they're cash cows for them. However, depending on the LLC, it may just have been someone that thought it was a good opportunity and realized, crap, this sucks. We're not good at managing any of this stuff. California's rental laws are horrendous. We want to get out. And that could be the opportunity too. So let me
So you don't know until you talk to them, basically.
Exactly. You don't know anything until you talk to the person.
So you can talk to them and say, and they might be maybe possibly willing to sell it, and then you can get an idea and then call them back later. Or do you just like already have all your information, how much you're wanting to pay for the house?
No, it all starts with the conversation.
Okay.
So
you
if
just
we go
come back with a price, right? Or after you talk to them.
Right. So what happens is, first step is identifying what you did, then contacting them. And then after you've contacted them, that's when you evaluate. So you don't know the condition of the house. I mean, you could throw out a blind offer, or you can look and see what they paid for it. And based on the condition, go from there. That's one way. The other way is to see really what's happening with this property, because evaluation, it could be a deal breaker for you. I mean, they may have turned it into a grow house and no one sees anyone because they're only showing up there at night to tend their plants or whatever, because the rooms are completely dark anyway and they have lights. And that's unfortunately not uncommon. That does happen a lot. I can tell you though, dealing with corporations, it's a little bit more tricky and challenging. You have to navigate through the fact that they're not emotionally attached to a property like a homeowner would. This is just dollars and cents, black and white. Does it make the company profit or not? Whereas a homeowner is emotionally attached to the problem that's being caused by the asset or this real estate. And so when you're talking to the seller, you have a lot more opportunity for them to open up and share what kind of stresses that they're experiencing, and then how to be able to navigate through that to help them move beyond the emotional part that's holding them hostage and be able to buy their house without the emotional entanglement. So then eventually you can move on to contracting. Because really at the end of the day, like I live and die by this, that I buy problems and sell solutions. Like this is really what I do. Let's see, what do you got, Vincent? If you want to pull up your camera, you can chat with us as well. He says, I was talking to a lady and her husband died and the house is in decent condition. It's been kept up, worth about 600 to 7,000. House is paid off. What can I do with this property? Well, come on up. Let's join this conversation. No worries. Can you do you at least have audio? No worries. All right, so work computer does not have audio. It's all good. So what we'll do is just chat. So again, going back to this, we're going to refer to this multiple times. This is like kind of the holy grail, the roadmap. Before we come back to you, Vincent, let's go back over to Diana. So contacting the owners, does that help as far as Deal Machine? I mean, you could start right there and immediately start to identify properties in your neighborhood as you're jogging or driving, send them some postcards or skip trace them and be on the phone with them within seconds, or text them. Also, when you're skip tracing somebody or skip tracing a LLC, you can also just Google the name of the LLC and the state, and you'll be able to pull up all the contact information, find out who's the representative or the registered agent for that LLC.
Okay.
And honestly, if you don't want to use Deal Machine, take a picture with your phone, develop it, print it out, and write a letter. I did that when I first got started. Deal Machine wasn't even around. There was an app called Postagram on my computer. And then what I did was I just took a picture of the house and Postagram printed a postcard. And I basically just said, hey, is this your house? I'm interested in buying it. And I picked up several of my very first properties that way. One of them had exactly what you're talking about, a broken tree limb, which is completely just on the sidewalk. Let me see if I can actually find that house. Should be able to. You know, I do have that house. I have that house. Right
What do you do, like, if you go up to a house that looks like it needs a lot of help, like it's, you know, maybe the roof's bad, the fascia's rotted, the needs paint. Then you go up to the house and you're like, hey, your house, what?
Your house sucks.
I just, yeah, it's like, oh, you looking to sell your house?
Yeah, so that's pretty much what it
Or
is.
how you doing? It's
You want to start a conversation. And so you have to be careful with them, right? You got to be able to make sure that you're not offending them.
But they might be renters too. Right?
Well, that's why you want to be able to skip trace or at least pull up the property information to make sure that you're doing that. Like I got a guy that he wanted to go into the hood. And so he's like, hey man, I'm going to go into the hood. I'm going to drive around and every house that I see that looks ghetto, I'm going to go ahead and knock on their door. I'm like, it's a waste of time. You're going to be talking to a bunch of renters and they're not going to help you. And so he's like, oh yeah, you're right.
So you want to do the basic research, is find who the seller is. And
you want to be smart. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I have gone and to check to see if they've been paying their taxes and stuff. Is that something you do?
Yeah, definitely, because you have motivation. So this house right here, this is one in particular. This was a property that, let's see if it's good. Oh man, that was slow. So you can see this was a house that needed some TLC. It was really, really bad. And I just took a picture of it, sent him a postcard. And this was an old guy. So he wrote me a handwritten letter back, letting me know that he was interested in selling this house and what my offer was. And to write him back, no phone number. So we corresponded back and forth through mail.
Wow, okay.
But I bought it. I ended up buying this one and another one from him. So he had two houses.
So you mailed it to the house?
To the owner.
To the owner, okay.
Yeah, so I use Property Radar. So that was one of your questions, Vincent. So what do I use for skip trace? So I'll use Deal Machine and Property Radar just because they tell me on the surface who owns these properties. and have some kind of contact information. If not, then I'll go into True People Search. So truepeoplesearch.com is a great one. So let me put that in here for you all. It's a free website. We're going to go into deeper in other lessons on how to use these. So truepeoplesearch.com. And then I also use TLO. Now that's a paid subscription, and you're probably not going to be able to get access to it. I'm grandfathered in. I've had it for about 8 years. A bunch of real estate investors abused it a few years ago, and so now real estate's kind of banned from it. And I have to have a monthly, or no, annually, where they have to come and like inspect my office and all this other jazz just to be requalified. So let me show you this again though. So here's another house, overgrown. I sent this postcard to the owner, and he wrote me back and he said, wow, now I know why it's not rented. Now I know why people are not paying me monthly on this. And I bought this property. And his grass was not horrendous. I think I have another one that was pretty bad. That one's pretty bad, but I have some other worse ones. Anyway, we're going to go into these in the future. So you're driving by, you see this opportunity, you decide, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to do this. So you identified it, you contacted them. So, what do you say? What would you do?
Hi, I'd like to buy your house.
Hi.
Can
Okay,
you,
so
can you hear me, Ryan?
Yeah. So let's role play this. Is that you, Vincent?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, man. This is why we do this stuff. So here we go. How do I do this? What I want to do is go right here. And for a moment, we're going to stop sharing screen. I want to stop sharing screen. There we go. Okay, beautiful. So you can see me.
Yeah, I can see you.
All right, perfect. So, you knocked on my door or you called me up, and let's hear it.
Hi, my name is Vincent, and I'd like to know if you'd be willing to sell your house.
Yeah, man, everything's for sale. Everything's got a price.
Okay. What's the condition of how long have you lived here? What's the condition of the property?
Well, I mean, you can see it, right?
Mhm.
It's a
All
pretty
right.
good house.
Are you planning on moving, or do you have any?
So I'm gonna mute you there, Jack. There you go. Perfect. So, yeah, I'm open to selling. I buy a new house.
Okay. Do you owe any money on it, or do you have a mortgage currently?
Yeah, I own a mortgage.
Okay. What would my next question be? Well, yeah, I'd like to make an offer after I do a full inspection of your house.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop you right there. Good stuff. And I appreciate you coming on and being willing to do that. Are you currently investing right now?
Yes.
Awesome. Where are you investing at?
I'm in Corona, California.
Oh man, you're down in Southern California.
SoCal. You're a NorCal. I'm a SoCal.
Yeah, you got the beautiful weather and the beaches, man.
Yeah. It's about to be a hot one this week, though. Whew.
It sure is. Cool. All right. So, all right. I love it. You just jumped right into it. And you asked if I was open to selling.
Uh-huh.
Open to selling. You also gave yourself, I mean, you asked some questions too. You wanted to know the condition. You also said that, or you actually wanted to know if I only had any debt on the property. And then you also wanted to give yourself an escape clause. You're saying, well, I need to do some inspections, and based on those inspections, we can go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a contingency. Nothing wrong with any of this. Contingency or escape clause. Okay. You've been investing how many years?
Probably about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay, cool. So in any of your conversations with sellers over these 3 or 4 years, and the conversation going the way that we just had it, what would you rate my motivation?
Well, in my experience, I haven't done directly with sellers. I've been doing everything through MLS, so going through
Okay.
realtors.
Beautiful.
I have done some cold calling, but that's where I start to choke up myself. Is like I'm trying to see what am I looking for? What am I trying to find out? You know,
Mhm.
like with this lady that I was telling you about, her husband, I guess he recently passed, and now she's gonna be inheriting the house and everything. And the house is in West Covina, you know, so it's got to be worth around 600-700, I would imagine. And but it's paid for, so I'm like, okay, that's probably something I probably couldn't even get involved with, right? I mean,
Sure it
she
is.
can just throw it on the market and
Oh, of course you could.
right.
So we have paid for. Let's call it 650. She inherited.
Yeah, because her and her husband, yeah.
I don't quite understand that. Can you give more detail? Like, how does she inherit something that she has
So
already?
they've been yeah, so they've been so it's kind of a weird story. So she was a caretaker for him for 40 years, and then but they never legally got married, but they lived together for 40 years.
Okay.
So and then the husband, he did a trust, and
All right.
the husband, I call him the husband because I guess they're like husband, you know, she said his husband, but I don't know if I don't think she's legally married, but anyways, he has 2 kids, but
Yeah, because wives don't inherit from their husbands.
well, I guess, you know, because technically they're not married.
Right.
So I don't know how you say that, but he made a trust and he gave her everything in the trust.
Okay.
And he has 2 kids, but he didn't leave anything for the kids. He specifically left everything for her in the trust. So he has like a commercial.
Not uncommon, by the way, at all.
Okay. Yeah. So I just found out about this yesterday, and I was just like, I don't think there's anything I can get involved with that. I mean, unless the house is in disrepair, which I doubt, you know, but.
Well, okay. So here's where it comes down to, you know, going back to this whole thing that we buy problems and sell solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where you find motivation. You got to understand people's motivation in order to know what to present them as a solution. So going back to, we're going to come back to this one, but first, let's go back to this one right here.
Sure.
So motivation here. Am I open to selling? Everything has a price.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
How motivated is someone that says, sure, man, give me the right price, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Name your price.
Right. So, okay, not so much. Not really motivated. The condition. You've seen it with your own eyes.
Yeah.
Not so much there. Do I have debt? That's still a question mark. You don't know how much debt.
Yeah.
And then the contingency. So in this particular situation, the motivation, I'd say, be very low. Not that there isn't motivation there. It just has not been uncovered. So taking that back up to this situation, okay, is it paid for? Does that provide any motivation?
There's if it's paid for, then there's really no motivation, right? Or no motivation to like sell quickly if it's paid for.
Well,
unless
we
they
don't
want
know that. What's
Yeah.
her situation?
Retired.
gift.
From my understanding, she's retired. She's a retired nurse, caretaker.
Okay.
So, would she want to pack up and move, or I don't know. I
So
still
is
have
she
to.
living in the house that she inherited?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, okay, big picture. She's lived in this house for 40 years. Maybe she absolutely loves it. Maybe she hates it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason why she never got married? I bet you it has something to do, at least initially, there were some laws. Again, I don't know how long she was a caregiver, though. Was she a caregiver for this guy for 40 years?
Yes.
Okay. There used to be on the books laws that you could not be a caregiver and a spouse. Because as a caregiver, you get paid and there's certain benefits that come and financial opportunities. But if you're a spouse, you're not entitled to that.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So that could be the case. For 40 years as a caregiver, that I don't know, that might be the case. Okay. But again, does she want a quick sell? If she lives in the property, maybe not. But what are her dreams and aspirations? Like, what does she want to do with the rest of her life? Does she want to just sit in this house that she's been in for 40 years? If that's the case, then yeah, she doesn't have to sell. Does she want to go travel? Does she ever have kids?
No. So speaking of kids, so that's a good one you mentioned. So that's the situation right now. Is the two kids, or not kids? They're grown adults. Two grown adults. They're trying to, because everything was left to her per the trust, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
nothing was left to his kids, but now the kids are back in the picture. So that's from what I hear, that's the drama is the kids were never there for him as he got old, as he got sick. She was always the one that was there. And now after he died, of course, the kids now want to be back in the picture and want to claim what's, because he owns a commercial property and this house. And so now I don't know, and she's a very giving, she doesn't mind, but she doesn't want to be, forced or whatever. So I don't know. There may be some lawyers involved, or talking to a lawyer, I guess, maybe how to settle all this. So that might be a pain point, right? Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. Well, or if these kids are going to be, a thorn on her side, she could sell and disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have two properties.
Yeah. The commercial one, that one is, from my understanding, is we're talking like a $5 to $10 million property. It's like a commercial building in West Covina, which is, what was explained to me is probably worth a lot of money. I don't even know what's going to happen with that. That's why I didn't even think about that one. I'm like, yeah.
Okay. So what does she do for a living?
She retired now. She was a caretaker for the
Okay.
40 years. Hmm.
So her only source of income was to take care for this man.
I
Now
think
what?
so. Yeah, I think so.
Did
I
he
don't
leave
know.
her money in a trust account in a bank somewhere?
Maybe, or maybe she's collecting. I mean, I know she's over 65, so she's probably retired. And
No. I mean, okay, yeah, that's totally cool. But you and I both know that whatever Social Security she paid into is not going to sustain her life, at least for the next
yeah,
10 years with the way inflation's going.
yeah. So there is more in the background that I don't know, but I'm trying. It's a friend of my mom, so I'm just trying to tell my mom, well,
Beautiful. You have a way in.
yeah, I just have to find a way to talk to her and to see. But I guess right now she's just dealing with the lawyer, and they're trying to with the kids. So
Well, if she was named the beneficiary, it's her property. The kids can countersue. Now they can go ahead and tie up everything
yeah,
and say that it was, he did it under duress or whatever. And yeah, that does happen. And it does get very acrimonious in courts, which means what will she do for income if everything's tied up?
that's true.
They could squeeze her.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Which means that she may not want to sell her property because it's owned free and clear. And she could let the taxes go for 5 years before the state's ever going to come knocking on her door.
that's right.
And all she has to worry about is her utility and food.
Yeah.
I mean, this worst case scenario. In the time, what's this commercial property? What is it used for right now?
Some type of office building.
So it brings in income.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, technically, she's entitled to that income.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I said. I don't even know how that part works or what's going on with that. But, hopefully, I'll find out. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And
So
once I found out more details, I will message you, and we can work on it.
sounds great. So we're wrapping up on our hour here. Let's go back to the contacting. So, and this will answer your question to Diana. So whenever I see an ugly house, you never want to insult them. They know it's ugly. It's a sensitive situation.
Yeah, I'm guessing they don't have money to fix it, possibly.
Exactly. So,
But in their eyes, it looks like $1 million.
exactly.
What if I just said, what if you came at it in a way like, hey, you want me to pressure wash front of your house or something, and then you get into a conversation like that or something?
So you want to be like the helpful neighbor?
Is that something is that a thing?
Yeah, you know what? So I got a kid that he has a neighbor that her house is, I don't know, horrible. Grass is always like up to your eyelids and stuff. And so he offered to mow her lawn. And she's like, I don't need your help. I don't need your charity. Some people are like that. There's another gentleman. I've gone over them multiple times because code enforcement has been on his doorstep knocking to say, hey, you need to clean this property up. It's really bad. And I personally mowed his lawn and we became friends. So it just depends. Like you could have a person who's extremely angry, or you can have a person who's like grateful. Yeah. The guy who has a really bad lawn, it's still that way. And he hasn't sold his house. And so you have to be careful that there's like a fine line. Like you're in this business to make money. And in the process, you do make friends. But if you're in it to make friends and then try to flip-flop them into making a business, that's where it gets really convoluted.
Yeah, can't mix business and pleasure or friendship.
You got to be upfront.
Yeah.
So, like for example, I got a couple of books that I've written, and I use these books as tools to drive and fund my business. And I don't hide the fact right in the very first couple of pages, it says that I'm here to give you information to help you with your situation. But in the end, I want to be a resource who buys your house if you decide to sell it. And so I'm upfront with them right from the get-go. But with that said, I want to share something with you about these properties. So abandoned properties and beater homes, I call them A's and B's. Abandoned homeowners, they're hard to find, but once you find them, you could be truthful about the situation. They know their house is garbage. They're not living in it. They're not emotionally attached to it. They've already walked away. So if you know a house is vacant or abandoned, you can be a little bit more truthful with them about the way the house looks. But if they're living in it and the house is ugly, they know it. They're ashamed of it. They don't have the money. And if you call them out on it, you're going to lose that opportunity. They're going to close down. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah, you're basically coming at it like you want to buy the house. It's just how you go about it. You got to read the room, kind of. You got to get
Exactly. So if it's vacant, more truth. If it's lived in, more tact. And the approach is basically, and I think you said this too, Diana, or you implied this, that if they're living there, you're going to come from a helpful perspective. Like that's the frame you want to set. Like you want to set the frame that you're there to help. So anytime I call someone, my opening line, and I know that they're living in the house, is, "Hi, my name is Ryan. I buy houses in the area, and I don't know if this is your situation or not. And I apologize for calling you out of the blue. I'm looking to acquire more properties in that neighborhood, and your house is one that I am actually interested in. I hope I'm not calling you at a bad time. I'm just wondering what your solution or plans are for that particular property or for your house." And so I'm almost like I'm tripping over my words with them. I want them to feel like I'm not this like slick sales guy coming like, "Hey man, what's going on? My name is Ryan. I want to buy your house. What's your situation? Like, how come your problems are like your house is like all a mess?" Like I want to be very approachable, just like a common guy. And if I can be helpful, I can be helpful. Now, if the house is vacant, my approach is a little different than that. I'd be like, "Hey, I own a house in the neighborhood. I'm looking at buying another house. This one needs a little bit of love. Can you tell me what the story is?"
And that's it.
That's it. Because there's always a story. Like who
There's
walks
always
away
a
from a
story.
house?
Yeah, there's a, yep.
Now I'll go take it a step forward or a step further. If it's vacant and foreclosure, or just foreclosure, I'm a lot more blunt with them. It's, "Hi, my name is Ryan. I apologize for calling you just out of the blue. I know we haven't met yet. I just saw that your house is going to be sold at auction this coming whenever. I'm interested in actually helping you here. What are your plans? Or are you just going to let the bank take it?"
What do you say when you're, "Oh my God, you're like the 10th person that called me already." Offering to buy my house for cash or whatever.
I'm probably a little bit different than the other guys. So let's role play that.
Okay. So you're like the 10th person that called me. What do you're going to offer?
Fantastic. So you already got this taken care of.
No, I don't, but you guys keep calling me.
All right, man. So I'm really concerned that you've had 10 people contact you and nothing's happened. Like what's going on?
Well, we're going to, talk to the bank and try to renegotiate.
So let me level with you. I lost my house in 2010. My wife was pregnant with our second kid, and we were kicked out the day after Christmas. And I too thought that I was going to renegotiate with the bank. They had no intention of helping me out. They wanted my house, they wanted my equity, and they wanted me out. You're no different. I can help you, but you got to act quickly. Time is running out.
Oh, we'll figure it out with the bank. I've been told that before too. We'll figure it out, and then that's it. So,
Tell you what, I love that you're optimistic about it. You know, I don't mind being a resource. I buy plenty of houses. I'm a professional home buyer. I'm also a professional bank negotiator. I don't mind being a resource to help you out. But if the bank does not want to work with you, all I ask is that you give me an opportunity. You don't have to sell it to me. I just want to have the first shot for helping you out at no cost to you at all.
what
do you have to lose?
That sounds appealing.
And usually at that point, and I'd be like, look, I've written a bestseller on how to defend yourself from foreclosure. I know what works and what won't work, and I know what your time frames are. If you're not going to fit inside the bank's box, they're going to kick you out and kick you to the curb, and your family's going to be homeless. I know, because that happened to me. I went through this. I'm trying to prevent you. I wish someone would have knocked on my door and helped me out the way that I'm trying to help you out. Again, this is no cost to you at all. Let's get started, man. Let's save your house if it's possible.
What do you do with those that don't want to be saved?
Then they don't want to be saved. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I spent maybe 5 minutes on a call with somebody. I can't convince them. But what I can do
is gotta know you have to walk when. All right.
A no today is a yes tomorrow.
Follow up.
Yeah. So I never want to get adversarial. If the guy wants to get angry with me, I understand that. I've been there. Like, I know personally what it's like. So be like, dude, hey, I wish you the best, but I'm gonna follow up with you in about a week because I want to see you succeed at this.
Okay, so I had another situation. Reason why, and this one was about I was calling on expired listings, and it was this one is a husband and wife divorced.
Are you an agent?
Who, me? No,
yeah.
No, I'm not.
Okay, but you just had access to expired listings.
I work with an agent, a friend of mine. He's.
I was just gonna say, you got this awesome resource that's lady inherited. Go list that property, man.
Well, that's the thing. So the husband and wife divorced. I used skip tracing. I got a hold of the husband, and he pretty much. The house is in okay condition, but it's been deteriorating in the last few years. But it's not that old. I think it was built in 2005, give or take. And the wife is there, and he got his kids, and now they're divorced. And the wife, he just wants to really, literally let it go. And this house is worth about, I'll say, 550 to 600. But the wife is not. So, quick backstory: when they were all together, happy family, and the mother-in-law was living there, him and the mother-in-law put down the down payment for the house, which was like $150,000. He put down 50. I think the mother-in-law put down 100.
So the wife's mom.
Huh?
The wife's mom.
The wife's mom. Yeah.
Okay.
So his mother-in-law. So then now, fast forward, the mother-in-law passed away about a year ago. And I guess things got real ugly. They divorced, whatever. So he moved out. So now he's living with his two kids, or their two kids, and somewhere else. And he just wants to be done with it. But because mortgage hasn't been paid in like 9 months. And so he's done. He doesn't want anything to do with it. I'm telling you, my ex-wife, these are like ex-gangbangers. You know what I mean?
Okay. What does the divorce decree say?
I'm sorry?
What is the divorce decree?
The of the divorced. What do you mean?
Yeah. So the divorce decree says something as far as like what he's or she's entitled to.
Yeah, I would imagine she's entitled to 50%, right?
Right. Or whatever the divorce decree says.
She's not on title, but okay, I don't know if this means anything, but he's on title, and the mother-in-law that passed away is on title. Those two are on title. The
Oh,
ex-wife is not on title.
house needs to be probated. Her half for interest.
Yeah, so I talked to the wife, and she was very like, "No, I'm not letting this house go. It's mine. You know, I'm
Bank's
gonna pay
gonna
it
take
off."
it.
Yeah, I said, she won't listen, just very stubborn, and just hasn't been paid for in a year, and she feels that she's gonna save it, and I don't know. And according to the ex-husband, she doesn't work or nothing. There's drugs involved in the picture, and
Do they
so
have a forbearance plan?
I have no idea if they have.
Because I mean, it depends on the type of loan. All that debt could be forgiven. But the
I
problem
don't.
is that she doesn't have ownership rights to the property. It was to her mom in her mom's name. And that
Yeah,
needs to be transferred.
yeah. So that's where I was telling the husband, you need to call the bank and find out more, or even if he gets a power of attorney, or I don't even know what can
He
he
can't,
do.
she's dead.
Huh? He can't do anything because the daughter is the next beneficiary, right? Or
I don't know.
okay,
Because was her mom married? Were there other kids?
that part I don't. Yeah, I don't know if they
See?
have siblings. Yeah, there was more to that picture. I couldn't find out,
So
but
technically, I mean, if she has other siblings, she's a fractional, not even owner, fractional heir.
what happens then? It goes to probate, or
Well,
well,
the bank doesn't take it
foreclosure. I would think
first.
foreclosure. It's going to go to foreclosure, right? If the
Yeah,
mortgage
the
has
foreclosure will take it first.
take it first. Okay.
But what you
Okay.
can do is you can go to this dude. So this is personally, this is what I would do. Is I would go to the dude. I would buy his half, and then I would bring it current or see what kind of loan there is and see if you can do any kind of forbearance modification and buy his half and then work on probating the other half. But you've already brought things current and you have the property and you can move forward that way.
You can buy half of what's
By any
owed.
interest, yeah, any fractional interest. Because there's two
Oh,
owners, you're buying 50%. And then go to work to probate the other half. Worst case, the property's sold, you get 50%, and the other heirs work out trying to do what they need to do.
oh, I see.
Yep.
Wow. I didn't even know you could do that one. 50%.
That's right.
Right. Does the
Guys,
house have to be probated, or can it just stay the way it is?
so Jack, you're asking if the house has to be probated?
Or
No,
can it stay the way it is?
You can say the way it is, but eventually that half will have to be probated in order for that property to sell.
Assuming, of course, there's no trust or will.
Right. But
Yeah.
even then, if there's a trust, you're okay. You can do an amendment to that trust to add that property into it. But if there's a will, the will still has to be probated.
Yeah. Okay.
Good stuff, guys.
Ryan, do you use VAs, or do you
I
just
do.
do all your code? Oh, you do use VAs.
For admin stuff, I do most of my calls myself.
Oh, okay. You use PropStream?
I use Property Radar.
Property. Okay. You like them more than PropStream?
I've been using them for 6 years. PropStream wasn't available in California, or the information was limited. But I like Property Radar because the trust deed sales are updated very, very close to the actual date that it's actually happening. And actually, whenever there's an auction, within an hour, it tells you if it was bought or sold or taken back to the bank or postponed. Like, it's really accurate.
And you could do the same thing with Property Radar. It pretty much has the same function as PropStream. Like
It does, yeah. There's a nationwide as well.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to share a resource with you guys. How many of you guys have these Bootstrap REI flashcards? Jack, you got them.
I don't have them.
You don't have them? Do you have them, Diana?
No, but I was looking at your website and thinking about getting them.
So if you want to get them, go ahead and do it. They're really good, and I'm going to share with you why they're so good.
Okay.
Let me show you. Here's where's this at? Oh, there we go. So here's the thing. If you buy just the flashcards themselves, don't worry about getting the digital access. I'll give that to you.
Okay.
But these flashcards here, the digital access, it has the digital versions plus like 2 hours of audio of me explaining it. And it's broken down into 4 different categories. So it's a full deck here. And it's like there's hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds. The cards are broken into like off-market properties, like how to find them, talking to sellers, talking to buyers, and then real estate math. So a lot of the conversations that I have with sellers over time, I found what worked and what didn't work. And I was able to put them together into this deck of cards. So if it's something that's interested, or if you're interested in it and you want to pick it up, go ahead. Like I said, it'll be very helpful. Just practice them 5 minutes a day, just going through the cards, becoming familiar with them. And you'll be able to talk to sellers and handle these objections, and then also kind of lead them in ways that'll make them open up and share with you what their problems are. Because once you understand their problem, you can then go about to work to solve that solution.
Okay.
Ryan, can we work with you? Like, let's say if I do find something else, I can contact you and we can work something.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, that's what this is for, right? So that we can, help each other out.
Well, and also I like the fact that you're also from California, so you kind of more or less know the rules, or
right
over here in Cali.
Yeah, if you want to guys contact me, or you have like a question about a deal, bring it to the call next week, or email me at bootstraprei@gmail.com. And we'll be doing these every Monday. Had a little bit of technical difficulties getting this started, and Diana was patient enough to hang in there. So also at this email, you can submit, hey, I got it, deal questions or topics that you want to have covered.
And if in case we're not able to show up, these are recorded?
Yeah, they're recorded, and I'll put it on YouTube and in the Bootstrap REI group.
Oh, okay. The Facebook group?
Yeah, the Facebook group. You don't have it, right?
I'm in the Facebook group, I think.
Oh, you are? Okay. There was someone that messaged me this morning and says, hey, I don't have Facebook. Can I still do this? And I'm like, yeah, of course, man. Awesome.
Do you use do you use attorneys or anything, or do you just
for
use
probate
title? Oh, no, not for probate, just in general.
Yeah, I do.
You have escrow and title. Okay. Do you wholesale?
Yes, I do wholesale. I buy and hold. But up here in Northern California, we're a title state, so we use a lot of title companies. I know down south, you guys are escrow and title.
Mm-hmm.
So that wouldn't be a resource as far as California specific when it comes to escrow. In other states, like in South Carolina and Georgia, where I own some property, we're an escrow state.
Oh, when you hold your properties, do you hold them in an LLC or land trust, or?
They're all in trusts, in land trusts.
Oh, so you use land trust too? Okay.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just now learning about that.
All right.
Yeah. So I just bought some forms, and I didn't know that you use those. So yeah.
Good for you.
Okay. Yeah, land
Good
trust,
stuff.
and then make your LLC the beneficiary, right?
I personally haven't done it that way, but that is one way. You can make anything be your beneficiary.
Okay. So you don't. Okay.
No, I bury it 3 trusts deep. I have a trust as a beneficiary, as a trust as a beneficiary, a trust, another beneficiary.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, I'm extra paranoid.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
You can do as many as you want, man.
Can you do a show on that one? How you hold it? That'd be interesting to see.
Not for public consumption. No, my private
No.
students like Jack, he has access to that, but not for my public. I'm not going to put that out there.
Okay. All right.
But hey, it never hurts to ask.
Yeah. No, that's fine. All right. Well, I thank you again, Ryan, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. I'll see you guys all next week.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you. Have a nice week. Have a nice week,
You
everyone.
too.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Hey, you're welcome, Jack.
Yeah, I'm at the hospital. They wouldn't let me go in, so I just said, I'm going to be out in the hallway. I might as well go outside and get on the meeting.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah. So
Good for you, man. Hope everything's okay with your mom.
yeah, okay. Hopefully it's getting better, but yeah, it's a process. You're looking good, though. I can see you're losing weight.
Yeah, man, I lost 30 pounds.
Me too.
Good for you.
Yeah, I've been walking every morning like you. I've been doing it for probably about 2 months now.
Dude, walking is such good exercise for your body, man. I've lost more weight just from walking than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So, but you're looking good. I can see the thinness in your face thinning out. It's good.
Yeah, I gotta get my summer body ready, so.
Me too.
All right, man, I gotta go get ready for another call.
No problem.
Talk to you soon.
Appreciate your time. Have a great
All
one.
right, thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
See ya.